Hello guys, today is day 4 of the Flats and Handwashing challenge. So far so good, and except for the rain, which has been kind of a little bit annoying. It's been in the forecast for all week, and you know, that is the nature of the challenge. Today's topic is the wash routine. So this year, where last year I failed miserably to try to compile a proper, cohesive, not taking forever, very horrible perspective kind of video. This year I managed to succeed where I failed miserably last year. I was able to rig my camera safely over top of the bucket to catch the whole thing. I did post, or that is, I did record the video yesterday so that I could make sure that I had plenty of editing time, because the wash routine, it takes a bit of editing, a little more editing than usual, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time to get that edited so that I could post it today. So what you're watching the time lapse of is going to be my wash routine from yesterday. That is the diapers I washed yesterday. I sped up the video for you, and so here is what my wash routine basically looks like. So all duct tape stuck to my shower wall aside, which we did not put there, by the way. It was there when we moved in, and we just never fixed it yet. My wash routine last year, and when I began cloth diapering and was hand washing, I would wash in the evening, and this year I've taken to washing in the morning. So a couple things I wanted to point out. In my time-lapse video, I use too much detergent because my son will go through like a period of about 2 days usually where he has like no bowel movements, and then he'll for the next like day or two he'll have just constant poop diapers. Because I haven't hand washed in a while and sort of out of my game as far as hand washing goes, and of course there is no specific science to it as far as there are too many variables, so it really depends on how soiled are your diapers, how many diapers do you need to wash, how hard is your water, what detergent are you using. All those factors contribute to how much detergent to use and what is too much, and it really just takes some tweaking. So what happened was in that video I used way too much detergent because I only had, I think, like, was it 6 or 8 diapers, something like that, and most of them were just lightly peed diapers, so they weren't heavily soiled or anything. And so the amount of detergent I used was more like appropriate for an actual like 8 to 10 diapers that are more heavily soiled. So I actually should have used less. So what ended up happening was I ended up rinsing 3 times in the video. I could have maybe done an extra one, but I considered it good enough. Most of the time I don't have an issue. What I look for when I'm finishing my rinse, like when I'm rinsing, I usually can get away with just 2 rinses. 2 rinses is usually more than enough, and the way you can tell you've used an adequate amount of detergent without going overkill is when you are done agitating your diapers, when you've finished washing them. You'll see suds around the rim, and it won't quite cover the whole surface of the water, and it's like the suds there means that you still have some soap left, but not a ridiculous amount, because suds equals soap basically. So the more suds you have, the more soap you have left, the more cleaning power you have left. So if you had no suds, that would maybe make me a little leery of have you used enough detergent. But the fact that there are some suds left is like good. You know you've got your diapers clean and you still have just a touch left, but not too much. And if you have a surface full of suds, kind of like what I think I had in the video, too much detergent. So, and then you end up doing rinse after rinse after rinse. So it's a process of learning how much to use and everything, depending on your circumstances and everything. If you use too much detergent, one thing you can do is, if you're worried about the wear on your elastics, pull your covers out of the rinse water after you do, after you do a primary rinse, and add vinegar to your next rinse to help the flats rinse out fully. The vinegar helps cut through the detergent, rinse out the detergent and everything. It's a rinse aid. It's just some people are worried about vinegar being acidic and being hard on elastics, so you can just pull your covers out and then just use it for flats if you want. That's an option you can do if you use too much. Just find that sweet spot on how much is good. This morning I used the same amount of detergent as I did in the video, but I had that perfect amount of light sudsing left after I was washing, so I got away with 2 rinses easily, very easily. And you know that you've rinsed enough when you might have like a little bit of like patches of film on the surface with touches of bubbles, but for the most part that your water's relatively clear. When you've got maybe a little bit of film but it's pretty much clear, you're done. So I got away with just 2 rinses this morning because I used the proper amount of detergent. It was like, oh, so because my son's been doing, like yesterday, he had his poop day, if you want to call it that, and so the diapers I washed this morning were relatively soiled, and that's why my detergent worked out so well and everything. But with him having so many soiled diapers, most of the time I keep it off the cover, but sometimes it's just touch bit gets on the inside near the elastics of the cover. So my covers haven't so much been washed all at once, so much as I've been washing them as I go. And then whatever is there in the morning is there in the morning, and I just wash it with everything, because why wash it separate when I'm already washing everything anyways. So the covers will get washed with the flats as well, and normally what I do is I roll them, I wring them out as much as possible, and I roll them in a towel to expedite drying. It actually does an excellent job getting them almost completely dry. Like outside of the elastics being a touch wet, almost completely dry. And even if they're only a touch damp, the elastics, I've still put them on him without issues. He doesn't usually get irritated from that or anything. I haven't had an issue. Or if I'm too worried about it, I'll actually leave the pad fold out over the elastic a little bit. I know that can cause wicking, but I'll do that for just a little bit, and then I'll tuck it back in later, but it actually kind of tucks itself back in, but whatever. And it hasn't really been a problem, the elastics being very slightly damp. They dry relatively quick. I hang them in my window so that I can access them easier and so they can dry. Sir has problems. Anything else? One more thing. When I'm doing my rinse, it might not seem like I'm plunging a whole lot with the rinses, and it's because I'm not. When I do my primary rinse, I only plunge like maybe 10 to 15 times because I'm just trying to knock most of the soap out of it and then just drain it away so that I can kind of expedite the process. And then the second rinse usually is enough to get everything cleaned out, although for my time-lapse video, again, I use too much soap, and so I plunged a bit more, maybe 20 times or so. You really don't have to do too much agitating to rinse. Really, you really don't. In fact, a lot of times people will say, oh, plunge this long, like this amount of time and whatever. It took me 15 minutes. Like, it usually takes me exactly 15 minutes. Most of that's because my water just takes forever to fill up, but it takes me exactly 15 minutes to wash almost every single time. And I usually plunge about, depending on how soiled my diapers are, I usually plunge about 50 times for the pre-wash, 100 times for the wash, maybe 10 to 15 times for the first rinse, and like 20 to 25 times for any subsequent rinses. Usually I only need to do 2, so and that's maybe 20 times really. Actually, I'm kind of lazy there sometimes, but it's always been good enough for me. So, you know, I don't time it, I just kind of count, and part of the reason I count is because I know it's getting agitated a fixed amount of times, and that's usually enough. I did spot treat in the video a little bit, but normally what I do, like when I didn't really have very many soiled diapers in that time-lapse video, so when I washed this morning, of course I had like almost every single diaper was soiled because he just had his poop day. So what I did is I pulled each diaper out of the soapy water. I didn't dump the whole bucket like I did in the video with the soap water and the diapers, because in that video I just took for granted the fact that all those diapers were pretty much just peed on. The only thing I had that needed spot treatment was really my daughter's underwear. But the Flats this morning, like I normally, when he has a lot of soiled diapers, I pull them out individually out of the soapy water before I dump the water, because I'm checking them to make sure there's no spots on them, because if they do, I can just put it back in the water, rub the fabric against itself to sort of spot treat it and get it cleaned, and then I just sort of agitate it a touch more with my hands, and then I can toss it off to the side. I squeeze it out, toss it off to the side. After I pull all the diapers out, normally then I drain. The exception, of course, like I did in the video, is if they're mostly just pee diapers, and usually I just drain the whole thing and just wring them out that way. So, that's pretty much it, I think. That's basically what my wash routine looks like every morning. And one thing I often hear, and it's true for me and it's true for many, many people, it looks like a process, but it's not hard. It's not hard at all. Some people are like, it's a real arm workout, and I'm like, well, I know I've got big arms, but like, of course it's mostly fat, but I know I've got big arms, but I didn't think I was that strong, and it's pretty easy for me to do, so I don't know, maybe I'm just used to it, but it's not hard to do. It's just a little bit of a process, and once you can fix it into a routine, it's no problem at all to do. Pretty easy to work into your day, just like anything else you have to accommodate into your routine. You make it work. That's how parenting is. You make things work. So anyways, thank you for watching. Sir's getting mad. My daughter's got a school question, so I have to go. I've been rambling for 10 minutes anyways. So I will see you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow with another video for the next topic, which I have to work on today too, because that's a little bit of, yeah. If you are interested in following along with me or continuing to follow with me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And you can also check out the Plum Bum Diapers Facebook page, because I post the videos there too, as well as some extra things every once in a while, and even beyond the challenge, I continue to post there regularly. So thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. I like how the second I stopped recording, he's fine.